How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is Mario Matthews, owner and operator of MinutesTillDawn Productions, and today we are going to be discussing some afterthoughts in regards to the Seattle Town Hall meeting that was held yesterday on October 1st, 2020. And yeah, we're going to get into the video. But before we do that, please like, please share, please subscribe. If you feel so inclined to do so, you can donate at the Cashapp below. Also, information to products and other things will be in the description. Um, Minutes Till Dawn Production is an entertainment media production company focused on empowering black families. So thank y'all for all the love, all the support, and let's get into the video. So I had a couple of afterthoughts of the Seattle Town Hall meeting that was held yesterday at 6 p.m. And shouts out to Converge Media and Cube 93 and all of the participants who made that come together, come to fruition. So much love and respect to y'all. A lot of the afterthoughts I have was in concerns with the specific numbers that were being presented during the presentation, during the many different presentations, rather. And one presentation in particular really stood out to me, and that was Wyking Garrett's presentation. Wyking Garrett is, good friend of mine. He's in the he's one of the directors of Africa Town, and he did an amazing presentation that he showed a couple of slides, and also called specifically for the mayor to recommit herself to $100 million over the next 10 years to be reallocated and reinvested back into Seattle's black community. Now, we're going to go over, a couple of this information that I written down in my notepad, and we're also going to be discussing that $100 million allocation. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, Joaquin showed a slide from the Seattle Times in regards to the widening wealth or the widening opportunity gap. That was the first slide he showed. Okay. Now, in that slide, you notice something, something very apparent. You feel me? Now, it broke down the numbers into reading and math, sort of grade level reading and math statistics of how they differentiate between blacks and black, Latino, Pacific Islander, and whites, and how the rates for reading and math are different, widely different, so much that there's a chasm between the two. However, this schism persists over time, as shown by the graph from the Seattle Times. I'll be linking that in the description below. Now, one thing you would notice in that slide, in that statistical slide, is that Black, Latino, Native American, and Pacific Islander are all grouped up into one. We'll come back to this, so keep that in mind. When it comes to the reading and math scores of Seattle school students, all of these groups that I've just mentioned, Black, Latino, Native American, and Pacific Islander, are all grouped up into one, and whites have their own category. Now, the numbers are stark. Reading in the year of 2014, 15, and 16, the numbers for Black, Latino, Native American, and Pacific Islanders are 31%, 34%, and 32%. So the numbers have, slightly went up and then went down again. Okay? Now, mind you, again, this is the passage rate for state test from grades 3 to 8. So keep that in mind. From grades 3 to 8, these are the test scores for students in these grade levels. And so math, even worse, 28% in 2014, 31% in 15, and 31% in 16. And so it stagnated. It went up and then stopped. Now, for white students, you had 79% in reading, 2014, 83%, and then 84%, so increasing. And for math, you had 75%, 79%, and then 79%, respectively. So as you can see, the stark differences in these scores, in these test scores from grades 3 to 8, is very glaring. However, like I like to remind you briefly, the black numbers is lumped into all of the other quote-unquote minorities, okay? Let's continue. So Wyking showed another slide. In this slide, the second slide, it was the home ownership rates, okay? Now, in the home ownership rates, one thing, right off the bat, you will notice that this time, the numbers are all split up. Now, mind you, the source is the same source. The Seattle Times is reporting on this. However, the previous source was actually originated from the Seattle Public Schools. Well, in this particular source, the Seattle Times reported that the home ownership rates, they're all broken off into their own racial categories. Now, black people have slid off of a cliff when it comes to home ownership rates. In 1970, we had 48.5% home ownership rates within the city of Seattle. In 2015, we are now at 28%. That has slid all the way down since the 1970s. Okay? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's that bad. And I will also leave a link in the description to that one. Now, the third slide, Seattle Seattle income by race, by the median, not by the mode or the mean, by the median, okay? In this slide, it also broke out the race category, okay? Blacks have a median income in Seattle at $42,500, okay? And I believe this is yearly. Yearly we're talking about. Whites, more than double, $105,100. However, you look at the other numbers, other racial ethnic groups, Pacific Islander, 72,500. Asians, 95,800. Latinos, 67,500. Multiracial, did you catch that? Multiracial, $67,900. And Native American, $63,900. Every single category, including multiracial, are making more yearly income by the median as compared to black people who are at the bottom at $42,500 a year. last slide, Wyking showed the Seattle net worth gap. Now, this is called the wealth gap, actually. So, net worth is essentially taking all of your, all of your assets and all of your debt, combining it into one, and what you have left is your wealth. That is your wealth number, okay? Off the back, you'll notice again that this one is broken off into different races. But not just that, this one is also broken off into different age groups, broken off into marital status, and other categories, okay? The glaring number that will instantly catch your eye is the racial wealth gap, okay? In Seattle, black people have a wealth number of $23,000. White people, $456,000. Okay? I will say that again. Black people, our wealth is it's just a glaring number. Our wealth is $23,000. White people, $456,000. However, you should also take a look at other races, okay? Latinos, $90,000. Now, mind you, this is wealth numbers, okay? That means your assets, things that you own, whether it's in, pensions, stocks, bonds, home ownership, businesses, all that stuff combined, okay? Latinos at 90,000. And we don't know how much of this is liquidity. However, Latinos is at 90,000 and Asians is at 446,000. Let's do a comparison. Whites are at 456,000. Asians is at 446,000. Let's look at it by age. People who are 18 to 34 have a median, or this doesn't say whether or not it's median, but the wealth gap, the wealth number for people between the ages of 18 to 34 is $196,000. Now, mind you, this does not break out into race. These are ages. Age. 35 to 49. People who are 35 to 49 have an $458,000 in wealth standing. People who are 50 to 64, $461,000, and 65 or older is $699,000. Ladies and gentlemen, doesn't this just, it describes perfectly what's happening in the microcosm of Seattle. Not only is black people being left behind, but these numbers show that our wealth standing is almost negligible, even compared to other groups of people who may or may not have immigrated here in the last 60 years. Amazing. And it gets worse, unfortunately. Now, as you can see, out of all of the 4 slides that were shown, Seattle Public Schools felt the need to lump black people together with all these other groups of people without showing our specific standing. It begs the question, what are they hiding? What are you hiding? Okay? That begs the question, what is the city of Seattle hiding when it comes to the reading and math test scores of black 3rd through 8th graders? But I'll take it a step further. None of these numbers in none of the slides goes into the specific lineage of black people. In the Color of Wealth report, and I will leave a link in the description on that. In the Color of Wealth report, in California, it showed that black people had 200 to 300 Native Black Americans, Black American descendants of slavery, or whatever acronym you want to call us. It showed in that wealth report in California, the state of California, that Native black people had an average net worth of $200 to $300 in our pocket. However, black immigrants had upwards of $80,000 to $100,000. That begs the question, what are the numbers of black American descendants of slavery in regards to all of these slides? Okay? In regards to home ownership rates, in regards to the reading and math test scores of 3rd to 8th graders, in regards to the Seattle racial wealth gap, in regards to the home ownership rates of black people that are the descendants of American slavery, or rather the income, the median income of black American descendants of slavery. Ladies and gentlemen, these numbers show abysmal results of the city of Seattle from the past 50 years in relation to black people. However, there is a dirty little secret that is being hidden in these statistics. None of these numbers outline the specific standing of black American descendants of slavery, because they're only going by race. They're not showing the numbers by lineage. It begs the question, the black people that built this country through slavery, stolen labor, Jim Crow, segregation, how bad is our group in these black statistics? That is the key question. How bad is the data for black American descendants of slavery in regards to all of these categories? Because it's not showing by these numbers. It's only showing race. It's not showing lineage. Now, with that being said, Wyking mentioned that black people are 60% of the homeless population. 60% here in the city of Seattle. It makes all the sense if you look at the home ownership rates and how it just declined over a span of 50 years. And the mayor The mayor mentioned dedicating $100 million to invest within the black community over a span of 10 years. However, during the Seattle Town Hall meeting, she never mentioned anything about it. Mayor Durkin never mentioned anything about this $100 million investment over the span of 10 years. But let's just say, for example, let's just give her that. Let's say that she still would like to make that commitment. She has still dedicated the city of Seattle to that commitment. Let's say that she still has committed herself to it. According to the writing, it says black community, meaning anybody who is black, regardless of where they come from, lineage, caste, whether they're descendant of slavery or not, they can get access to this $100 million investment. Now we have to ask ourselves a very important question. Which group within the black spectrum need the most help? Because as far as I'm concerned, there is a national call for reparations right now at the tune of $16 to $20 trillion, going specifically towards families that are descendants of American slavery or American descendants of slavery. Yet this is an admirable, very admirable goal for the city of Seattle to commit themselves to. However, how it stands at the moment, this is a drop in the bucket compared to that which we are owed via reparations to American descendants of slavery. Now, Miss Jenny Durkin should, as Wyking has stated, she should recommit herself to this $100 million investment, because regardless of whatever happens at the end of the day, this is money that could be used to allocate towards Africa Town, many different initiatives that can be held in order to benefit, build up our community, and hopefully start to bring back those numbers that has been utterly abysmal. However, let there be no mistake, $100 million is a Band-Aid, a drop in the bucket. The only way we're going to solve these systematic problems is an entire flip, a redefining of socioeconomic political status in this country. Black people who are American descendants of slavery are owed a debt from the stolen labor to the mass incarceration that we have today. We are owed a debt, and the debt must be paid. Unfortunately, we have come to this particular point in time in history where this should have been done a long time ago. During the civil rights era, this should have been done a long time ago. However, now is the time for us to make our stand. Now is the time for us to do what is necessary to make the necessary sacrifices in order to repay the debt that American society owes to Black American descendants of slavery. My name is Mario Matthews. I am the owner and operator of MinutesTillDawn Productions. Thank y'all so much for staying this long and listening to the video. Much love and respect. Y'all take care. Peace.